So I gotta get this off my chest, and because I need it out there to hear what other people think. I was sexually assaulted in 1996 by a neighbor. There are two reasons why I think he targeted me. I had a larger breast size than I am now and much lighter weight. I weighed a lot less than I do now, so my chest was kind of more prominent. And he had a thing for bigger breasted women. And he was a neighbor, and there are a lot of people who think I knew too much about him. I think I was very naive, but I knew he was always trying to get me to come over to have dinner, and so he was always trying to get me. But it just was creepy to me because he was old. I had barely started living in this area, this like little property where we had little cabins, so we had our own little house. Well, that fall that I first moved in, right? It was or the second fall. I can't remember. All I know is like it was when I first moved in. So I can't remember. Anyways, it was way before this happened. And it was in the fall, winter time, because there was no snow. I was dog sitting for my brother's now ex-girlfriend. She's moved on and married and stayed within her class of people. She was rich. She grew up rich, and it's one of the things that I think drew my brother to her is she had money. And she was pretty. And she had an attitude. And whatever my brother says to these girls that he dates, these women he dates, they always talk down to you. And that's the way she was. She would talk down to a lot of people. And then, like, she also talked like she was dumb when she wasn't dumb. Which is sad. But anyways, I was dog sitting, and this dog wasn't brought up to be on a leash, and so he wouldn't go poop. And I was watching him. I was half inside my house and half outside watching him, and he got away and literally was picked up from my front yard. Because it wasn't that far from Route 16. And he literally just got picked up. And we looked for him, and right away that neighbor that I barely knew at the time was calling me a dog killer. And the people who had the dog knew who the owner was, knew that the dog was being looked for, there was reward offered and everything. Mike's then girlfriend, my brother's girlfriend at the time, and this girl had beef between each other. And then one night there was a fire and the dog, among other animals, died in the fire because the family didn't really care about their pets. And this dog, who wasn't raised on a leash, was a Maltese, okay? And had a rod in its leg from a run-in with a dump truck. Can you sit here and think about it? How does a little dog like that survive a dump truck hit? I don't know, but the rod was the only way they were able to identify the dog because they couldn't remove the rod. The bone had grown over it. And so, I don't even remember everything about what happened. My brother says I still asked to get paid for dog sitting. She said it wasn't my fault because the dog ran away, but obviously somebody decided that it was my fault. And even though I know, this is so indicative of why women are not good as friends to one another. And, because of however Mike and my brother and hers falling out was, whatever she felt about the situation changed. And I know that at a lot of times I come off as kind of like without affect or whatever, missing a certain amount of emotion. And it depends, and the medication I was on probably does that. When you are on antidepressants, sometimes you're kind of like a zombie. So I don't know. She still blames me today. We got to talking on Facebook, and she still says it's my fault, and she blocked me before I could even tell her that, something that she should have known, that when I was sexually assaulted and we were in court, his attorney brought up the dog, and then that's why I was blaming him or accusing him of trying to rape me because he called me a dog killer. I barely even remember what this was about until they refreshed our memory about what this could be about. And they brought it up both times, and I couldn't help but laugh at it because it's ridiculous and petty. Why would a woman ever bring up something so unrelated and minute, like that that you can't even find that connection between the two incidences, the person saying something, and I barely even remembered what he said and that it was him until someone else brought it up, and then I remembered. And around this time, this guy in southern New Hampshire was going to prison for killing a cat. And it bugs me that people go to prison for longer terms when they kill an animal than they do when they mutilate and murder women and children and just human beings. And, when this little tiff happened on Facebook, my brother was siding with her, and I'm like, I was living with them for a short period of time after this assault. It's not like they were living in a bubble where they had no idea what was going on and what had happened. And some people just choose to remember what they want to remember about things, especially if it doesn't involve them. And this is why, like, when people become victims of crimes, you know, before they'll complain about crime, but they never do anything about it until they experience it themselves. And they wonder, why didn't anyone do anything? And you could be sitting there like, well, so-and-so had it happen to them, and you were right there, and you did nothing. And they'd be like, oh, right. Oh, it's, you know, and I have this feeling that the same opinion was felt by some people, that I was wasting my time because I fought him off and it wasn't really rape, I think, in their opinion. So, and that's what is insidious, is like, we decide what's really rape and what's not. You know, what's an assault and what's not. I don't know. I mean, I just want people to tell me what they think. I mean, what they think. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I feel like I mean, she even said something to my brother about how her other Maltese, she got a Maltese after this one, and a Pomeranian, and something happened to that Maltese. And it's like, are you blaming me for that? You know, inadvertently blaming me because of your bad luck with pets? Maybe you shouldn't have pets. You know. And it's just, I feel like she chose to be oblivious to what was going on at the time, and how her dog, the situation with her dog, was used against me, and maybe she supported that, because I don't know what kind of shit my brother told her. You know, my brother has a lot to answer for the way his girlfriends treated me in the past. And they weren't always respectful to Mom either. So, some of it you can't say, oh, it's youthful, you know, kids will be kids. It was more than that, the way some of his girlfriends treated me. So, I mean, it was going on into adulthood. It was like they would talk to me as if I was 5. So, it still bugs me.